we have ourselves a Nimrod upgrade, or do we? What's up, my peeps? The Ruckus, and I'm back at you again. We are looking at a Marvel Legends Deluxe figure, the first Deluxe figure of the new year, meaning 2026, and that is Nimrod. Yes, indeed, we've seen Nimrod before. This is an updated version of that Sentinel, Advanced Sentinel from the future, and we're going to see exactly where the upgrades are with this guy. But until then, settle in and read the mini bio. Pause it if you need to, and while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe. Why don't you? Now that you've finished reading the bio, it's time to check out Nimrod, him, or itself. We'll go with him. Definitely, especially since if you've read any of the books where Nimrod is featured in, especially the more recent ones, he definitely has the personality of a he. So we can refer to him as he is a sentient artificial intelligence within this futuristic Sentinel. Anyway, you probably already noticed that we are doing things a little differently. New year, new format. And I'll most likely get into it a little bit later just to get you guys on point with it. So, uh, nothing is the same except bringing you reviews. So, without further ado, we are going to do that. Looking at Nimrod on our rotating platter. Yes, that is back for those of you that have been rocking me for a few years. You see that Nimrod is molded in a pearlescent white, and upon looking at him closer, you'll get a chance yourselves. He does have some marbling going on in that pearl white, and you see that he's highlit with pink lines, more or less. I'm sure it's not pink like bright pink, but I'm never good with the names of colors that are subdivisions of the colors that we all know and love. But you can see for yourself what Nimrod is rocking with. His chest piece is a darker shade of pink, almost purple. I would say it's you could either think of it as a light purple or a darker pink. Take your pick. Anyhow, this is just basically we'll call it repaint of the previous version of Nimrod that we got in that X-Force 3-pack, consisting of Psylocke and Phantom X. And Nimrod was the centerpiece of that 3-pack. And we will take a look at that figure and compare it with this one a little bit later. But we're going to still stick with this one in the meantime, in between time, and take a look at those accessories. Nimrod comes with an extra pair of fists, and as you can see, he's two fingers of an opposable thumb, and those fists, the actual hands, are painted in that same pink. Of course, the tops of those hands are the pearlescent white. So you do have that, and we also get an additional head sculpt for Nimrod, and this one is slightly different than what came in packaging. This is actually a more recent version of Nimrod's faceplate, definitely from more recent storylines like House of X, which was, I think that's 3 years ago now. Time really goes by. The head sculpt that comes on the figure is uh, recreation of his first appearance. He appeared like that way back in the day. And finally, we have a pair of blast effects. They actually are two-piece blast effects. You see we've got the actual blast effects, and then the energy rings around them. They're the blast effects themselves molded in a orange, melting into a red, translucent. I'm going to set one down, and then you've got these energy effects that wrap around. They are part of the blast effects themselves, so I'm sure you could remove them if you want. It seems like they're pasted in. And of course, though the energy rings are a more pinkish kind of fluorescent coloration. I believe this deluxe version of Nimrod is meant to replicate primarily how it appeared way back in the day. Its first appearance style. That's why it came in packaging with this color scheme, meaning the this pinkish color. I don't know. Would this be considered mauve? Any of you color freaks out there who are good on the off colors of, the basic primary ones that we all know, like red, you've got bright crimson and stuff like that. Tell me, is this mauve, this type of pinkish coloration? Anyway, enough about that. Uh, as I stated, I think that's what this deluxe version is supposed to primarily replicate, the first appearance Nimrod. That's why the head sculpt is the first appearance head sculpt, and the extra one is the one that shows the more recent image of the Sentinel. The first one, the original one, actually came out of packaging with the more recent head sculpt, and it's definitely supposed to be a representation of the more recent version of Nimrod with the color scheme. And one other thing, which I'll show a little bit later, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyhow, looking at Nimrod once again, we've got the. I want you to take a look at the mauve, pinkish highlights, and keep that in mind. The work going on there, and as I stated with the fist, you see the hands, the fingers are that same mauve color, and the striping, if you will, goes all the way down, and you know that this is basically an older mold because we've got pins right there. It sure would have been nice if Hasbro would have changed out the arm so that it would be as pinless as the knees appear to be, and they were pinless on the first version as well. So they basically only changed the paint scheme on the figure. The other thing we're going to check out now that we saw all of that is the articulation. I'll zoom out just a little bit so we can get more in for Nimrod. The head sculpt is it's removable, obviously, but there's no turning, so you can scratch that. There's no going back or forward. It is fixed straight up. We've got shoulder pads here. As you can see, they're connected to the shoulders themselves. You can move the arms out and the shoulders will give way, but they are going to they'll bend and stay that way if you keep Nimi's arms like this. Of course, they'll go back if you apply hot water or hot air. Of course, you can rotate them 360, and you can get the rear back, which is not really back, if you will. It's just more or less parallel with the body, as you can see right there. You're not going to get that. You've got bicep swivel, as you can see right there, and a single jointed elbow, pinned, of course. And you're only going to get that's not quite 90. That's all you're really going to get going on there. And you've got wrist swivel, and it's a horizontal hinge. And as you can tell, these are open hands, so Cool. I'm going to keep the hands up there. We've got a diaphragm, so it can go forward. Turn them sideways here so you can get a better look at it going forward. He can go forward just that much, which of course isn't much. Hasbro still hasn't really resolved that issue to get us more articulation in the torso area. Going back, there's one of those times where actually going back is worse than going forward. You can, because of that diaphragm, go side to side, and you get your rotation from that diaphragm right there. You get good rotation there, so that's cool. At the hips, you can get him to spread his hips just that far, and keep in mind that the tops of those legs are going to be impeded by the this molding here for those hips. So keep that in mind. You could warp this going on. So be very mindful of that. And as far as kicking forward, straight up kick, you're only going to get that much, but you can bevel him out to get a little bit more. So you got that. And speaking of the beveling out, you're getting your rotation there where that leg meets that hip. You've got the double jointed knee. See if I get that there. Considering the design of the leg, that's pretty good in terms of articulation at the knee. And then you're not going to get anything swiveling down here. And you're not going to get much in the way of articulation, but it is there. So you can point your toe forward that far and barely up, but you can get some, it's some up, because you could tell how, that changes for you right there. And believe it or not, you get the barest essence of ankle pivot, but it is there. So that's what you get. You get the arms down, and you see what I'm talking about with the the shoulder pads getting, fixed that way. I'm sure over time it'll go back into place. And if not, then a little heat application will do us good. Here's that comparison I spoke of. We've got on our right the 3-pack version of Nimrod, and you can clearly see the differences. The highlights for Nimrod were, of course, you see mostly were just very thin lines, and they are placed differently. But before we get to that, we'll talk about the faceplate. We see that we've got silver faceplate for the this version, which is this is a representation of the more recent version of Nimrod, and we've got he's got the reddish kind of highlights above his head that you see are not present in our newer version. And then, of course, his collar, if you will, it wraps around there. Whereas on our deluxe version, they are painted out, and they end in triangular style pointed tips. And then, of course, you've got the line work basically throughout the body, and we here where it's the sculpted design pattern, it's filled in, whereas they're not filled in on this version of Nimrod. And we've got that mauve or just pinkish line work, which is thicker in the same areas on the torso that we get on our 3-pack version. The difference is we've got the line work on the 3-pack version there at the shoulder ball joints there, and they're fuller here. And we've got the ratchet elbow joints are also painted pink, whereas they are basically, they're not even really the fluorescent, I keep saying fluorescent, the pearlescent white. They're a different shade of white in those elbow joints. And you can see the fingers are different. We've got on our deluxe version, they're pinkish or mauve, whatever color pink that is. I'm going to just say pink. I'm getting tired of flip-flopping, and they're just straight up white, pearlescent white on our 3-pack version. And I'll have to lift up because I don't think you can see the feet. Before I get to the feet, though, we've got the line work there once again going along the pattern on our 3-pack version, and that is left without. However, we do have that pink going there where the hips meet the leg, and they're just white here in that same area. Now lifting up, you see the difference with the feet there. Our Deluxe has got that pink going around the sole, where there's nothing going around the sole on the 3-pack, but he does have the line work there at the on the toe. Now, the chest piece is kind of it's a lighter shade of pink than on our Deluxe version. As I stated before, it's darker. And then on the rear, here's one of the major difference, how you know that this Nimrod, the 3-pack version, was meant to represent the more recent iteration of Nimrod, because it comes with this piece that fits on the back, the wings that the later versions of Nimrod were displaying. And the piece is detachable, so you could, if you wanted to, transfer it to this one, but the shades won't match. You know what I'm saying? Also, you see that we've got color pattern here in the rear, and we do have some of the pink highlights on our Deluxe version, but nowhere near as pronounced as on our 3-pack version. And the 3-pack version also has line work going down there at the, we'll call them calves of the boots, where nothing is going on, but the pattern is still there. It's just that there's nothing painted in. So you do have that. The other change too is the additional head sculpt that came with our 3-pack version is colored that red color, and this is another representation of basically the more recent way that Nimrod appeared, I would say. I'm trying to look, and yeah, this is the more recent way as well, just a different shade. And bring it back. You see the line work there, but and in the back as well. So those are your differences between the old and the new. Some of you may prefer Nimrod with his more recent visage. So this is what that extra head sculpt looks like. So about how we're going to be doing things going forward, we're going to, as you've already seen, bring back the rotating table, and we're going to really keep the reviews kind of simple. And I'm doing this because I've seen that a lot of the characters that I review, they don't get much traction, so I'm going to focus more on the characters that I think will get traction. So, Deluxe figures usually do, and there are certain characters within waves that have the more attention with the collectors, with the viewers than others, so I'll concentrate on that. Like, take the recent retro Spider-Man wave, the last wave of 2025. I was thinking about reviewing the Owl and Cardiac, because I think that I know Cardiac has been requested big time over the years, and the Owl is a classic Daredevil villain, so I'm sure that would get well received. But I figured the window on that closed. We're at the end of January as of this recording, so I decided not to do so. If you guys want me to review those figures or anything else from that wave, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll handle that for sure. But for the most part, I'm going to focus on Deluxe figures. Like coming up will be that Abomination, which is another redo. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that figure as well. And yeah, anything coming down the pike, like maybe something from Maximum series. I know that those are very controversial, and they receive a lot of attention. So stuff like that. And once again, the more prominent characters in any given wave. So I'll be doing that going forward. So again, if there's something you want me to review, just let me know in the comment section below, and I will see what I can do about that. Anyway, about Nimrod here, the updated version of this figure. It's a pretty nice figure. I actually like the coloration on this one over the 3-pack. Of course, the 3-pack was more it's supposed to replicate the more modern version of Nimrod, and whereas this is primarily it's primarily you know for the original version, even though you get a newer head, which is what I've got here on the stand, rocking the newer head for the finale here. We got the hands, fists, and of course the open hands, and we got the blast effects, which have been ported over from that 3-pack. And once again, the new color lines and scheme that we got on this version, it totally differs from the previous version, and that's pretty cool too. And I prefer this coloration over the previous one. I still like the previous one, but I like this one better. That's what it is. Let me know down below which one you prefer. And I did compare them so you have your memory refreshed if you've got your version packed away somewhere and can't really recall. Just refer back to the comparison earlier in this review. Anyway, let me know down below while you're down there. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. You'll be notified when I upload another one, and definitely pay attention to that, because I am not going to be making as many videos as I previously have done, for a few reasons. I'm not going to really get into all of them. I gave you some right now, and that's really all that needs to be said on that tip. Anyway, let me know down below what you think about this, what you want to see. If you do want to see more, let me know that too. I might take that into consideration as well if I get enough requests for them. But until then, guys, this has been Nimrod, deluxe version, updated version, and I am the Ruckus. And until next time, peace.